Hey everyone, welcome to the second video in my AI prompt series. These videos are designed to provide prompt inspiration by introducing you to a wide variety of styles. Some might be more familiar to you and others lesser known. Today we are exploring more film and photographic styles. All of the images in this video were created with Midjourney V6, but you can try these prompts with whichever AI image tool you prefer. Just like in the first video, I will show 6 subjects across the different styles. These are the same subjects that I used in the first video with one exception. I replaced Forgotten Realm with Home Interior because I think the results are a bit more useful. For simplicity, the prompt structure for each example will be subject, style, with an aspect ratio of 2:3, and the same seed number of 1111. You don't need to include seed number in your prompts. I'm doing it for this video series because it allows for reproducibility. For more information on using seed values, you can check the link in the description below. Alright, make sure you give this video a like and subscribe if you haven't already, and we'll get started with our first style. First up, we have infrared. Infrared photography captures light from the infrared spectrum, which is invisible to the human eye. The result is really striking images with an ethereal, dreamlike quality. This type of photography gained popularity in the 1930s when infrared film first became commercially available. These images show the distinctive infrared aesthetic where foliage appears white or different shades of red, skies tend to take on a deeper blue hue, and all of the images have an otherworldly look to them. You'll notice that there are trees in every image. Trees are a common subject of infrared photos in the real world, so by including infrared in the prompt, Midjourney likely added trees to these images due to the common association between trees and infrared photography. The image results for our other 3 subjects also contain a lot of trees. Only one of the 4 cats is anthropomorphic, but they are all out in nature. I especially like the one in the upper left. The home interior images all contain trees, even the wallpaper of the one in the lower left has trees on it. And different from what we saw with styles in the previous video, most of the ghosts are outside in nature drinking their coffee instead of being indoors. This is a great style if you want a unique, surreal look and don't mind some foliage by default. Kodak Portra 400. This camera film was introduced in the late 90s and quickly became a favorite among portrait and fashion photographers. It's known for its natural, slightly warm color palette and pleasing contrast, and we can really see that here in these images. I especially like the slight nostalgic and subtle vintage look to these images. This is a really pleasing film style to use in a variety of prompts. We got a couple of anthropomorphic cats this time, and one that looks like it's in a backpack ready to be carried by its human. The home interior images have some really nice lighting from the windows combined with the deep shadows and rich warm tones, and our ghost images are slightly eerie and look like they were taken in an older style cafe. Next up, Polaroid emulsion lift. This technique became popular in the 1970s and involves removing the emulsion layer from a Polaroid print and transferring it to another surface. This creates a unique and often distressed effect. We've got some nice nostalgic looking snapshots and an older apartment building style, and I think these are the best anthropomorphic cats so far. That one in the lower left actually inspired me to create a whole series of high school portraits of misfit cats. All of the home interior images have a great distressed look to them, and the homes look beautiful, but also in need of a makeover. And we successfully got classic sheet ghosts drinking coffee. This is a really fun style to play around with. Bokeh. Bokeh refers to the aesthetic quality of the out-of-focus areas in an image and is characterized by the rendering of light point sources as blurred circles or shapes. Photographers will use shallow depth of field and selective focus to get this bokeh effect, creating beautiful, dreamy backgrounds. On the left, the woman's face is in focus in each image, but the background is heavily blurred and contains those blurred circles. The apartment buildings are all out of focus in this example. Midjourney took bokeh a little too far there. And the summer festival results are completely focused on blurred light circles. So obviously bokeh is a really strong style word for these 3 subjects. All 4 of our cats are anthropomorphic and the images have blurred backgrounds. The home interior images tend to show more close-up scenes and include those blurred light circles. And I really like that the ghost photos turned out kind of cute. Double exposure. Double exposure is a technique that involves exposing a single frame of film twice, creating a layered effect. This is one of my favorite styles to play around with in Midjourney because it generates really interesting images. I especially love the apartment building in the upper left that looks both like it's mirrored and floating. A common subject for double exposures is to combine a side profile image of a person with a nature image. And you'll see Midjourney naturally lean in that direction, for example with the summer festival images. We also got some great cat images with this effect. I love the one in the upper right that looks like he's about to summit a mountain. And again, you can see the heavy influence that the words double exposure has on the content of the image. Most of these results contain a side profile combined with nature elements. Cyanotype, also known as blueprinting, was invented in 1842. It's an early photographic printing process that was initially used for reproducing technical drawings and creating botanical prints. It's similar to photogram, which I shared in the last video, but the distinctive feature of cyanotype is that all of the images are blue and white. Even though it's an older printing process, the word cyanotype doesn't seem to introduce the older clothing styles or 19th century buildings like we saw with daguerreotype in the previous video. Only one of our cats turned out anthropomorphic and he doesn't look too happy. It's hard to pick out some of the details in the home interior and ghost images, but they all share those deep blue tones and a distressed and slightly grungy look. Expired film. Photographing with expired film can produce a range of unpredictable results, from color shifts and increased grain to light leaks and unexpected artifacts. You can really see that in the summer festival images on the right, and all of these images have muted tones and a vintage feel to them. In the last video, I shared the style vintage color film, which is somewhat similar to expired film, but expired film is more faded and slightly grungy in comparison with certain subjects. I love the hiking cat in the upper right, and some of the lighting in the home interior images is really nice and soft. One of our ghosts appears to only have a mouth, which I suppose is appropriate for drinking coffee, but all of these images have a nice vintage look to them. Stereoscopic imaging. Also known as 3D imaging, this is a technique that creates a 3D illusion by combining two slightly offset 2D images, mimicking how our eyes perceive depth. These images appear to pop out from the screen with distinct foreground and background layers. Now, I don't have a cheap pair of 3D glasses to see if these truly look 3D, and if I had to guess, I doubt the whole image looks 3D. But if you do have 3D glasses, try it out and let me know down in the comments how they look. Midjourney struggled to get that red and blue offset with all three of these subjects, and opted to incorporate red and blue into the rugs and wallpaper of two of the home interior images. And interestingly, all three of the cats are wearing some form of glasses, which is probably related to the use of the word stereoscopic imaging. Agfacolor film. This film is no longer commercially available, but it was first introduced in the 1930s and was originally used for making slides and short documentaries. The results for Agfacolor film are similar to what I showed for Kodak Portra 400 earlier, but with these images, the colors are a little more muted in comparison. I don't know what is going on with the cat in the lower right, but they are all anthropomorphic, which is great. The home interior images mostly have warm tones with classic vintage decor, and our ghost images look pretty similar to the ones that we got with Kodak Portra 400. Now, I want to take a moment to mention that there are actually several film types that look similar in Midjourney. Here are a few others that I tried with the street style photo of a woman prompt, and you can see that there's really not a huge difference. Cinestill 50D film looks a bit more faded compared to the other two, but they all have that beautiful classic film quality. Many film types produce this type of aesthetic in Midjourney, but I think what matters more is the effect that a specific film type has on the semantic content of the images, so things like the clothing and buildings. So if you're picking a film type to use in your prompts, make sure you think about the types of images commonly made with that film and the era or decade in which that film was most popular, because that can affect your results. And if you're struggling to get consistent aesthetics across your prompts, you can try using one or more images as style references. I'll link the video to my style reference tutorial. Well, I hope these examples give you some new prompt ideas. If you missed or want to watch other videos in this series, I'll put that playlist up on the screen now. Let me know down in the comments if you try any of these styles or have specific styles that you'd like me to include in a future video. And before you go, please make sure you click the like button, subscribe, all the things. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.